Okay, so let's start with 3B. Or I'm sorry, we're going to finish 3A. So 2x equals half of 6 is 3. So x equals 3 over 2, or 1.5. Your unit is cups of, and it's lime juice. You see that? Okay. B. A salad dressing calls for 1/2 cup of vinegar. Okay, so your first one is vinegar, and it's cup to oil. So the second one is cup, oil. Okay, this right here is how you set it up. So you have 1/2 divided by 3 over 4. Okay, how much vinegar should be added if you're using 1 and 1/2 cup of oil? 1 and 1/2 is a proper fraction. You got to change it to an improper fraction. So 1 times 2 plus 1 is 3 over 2. So equals, this is oil. Oil's on the bottom, so 3 over 2. X goes on top. You see that? Now we're going to cross multiply. That part is going to be, so you're going to work this on the side because you keep writing it, it's going to get jumbled. Do you see that? So right here, 1/2 times 3 over 2 is 3 over 4. So comma, 3 over 4 equal. Now you're going to go ahead and multiply it this way. 3 over 4x. Do you see that? How do you get rid of a 3 over 4? Remember, you have to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 4 over 3 on both sides. And the reason for that is because when you multiply like this, the 3 and the 3 in the bottom cancels, 4 and the 4 in the bottom cancels, and you're just left with x. You see that? So x equals 4 and 4 cancels, 3 and 3 cancels. So what's left? 1. So x equals 1 cup. Cup of what? Oil. You see that? Right? If you're like, I don't understand how you're canceling this. If you see a 3 on top and 3 on the bottom, it cancels. The answer is not 0, it's 1, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and move on. So that was number 3. Let's go ahead and take a look at number. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 4. Or I'm sorry, not number 4. It would be C. Say that again. 1 and 1/2 is numerator. 1 times 2 plus 1. Remember that? Which is a 3, right? This stays the same. 3 over 2. Okay, for example, let's start over here. Do you remember you have 4 and 3, 3/5? Like this, right? This is called a proper fraction, right? If you want to change it to an improper fraction, what you do is the numerator is 4 times 5 plus 3, which is 4 times the denominator plus the numerator. Do you remember that? Yeah. You can sit over there. This right here, the 4 is called a coefficient. This is a coefficient. The 3 is the numerator. The 5 is the denominator. The bottom is the denominator. So it'll be 23 over 5. Do you see that? What? No. It was 1 and 1/2. So that changed to 3 over 2. Okay, first C, Mrs. McMaster or Miss McMaster plants 3 petunia plants for every 4 daisy plants. So this is what you start off with. Petunia plants go on top. daisy plants go on the bottom. So 3 petunia for every 4 daisies. If the parent club gave her 20 daisy plants, how many petunia does she need to get for her planter? So it gave her 20 daisies. 20 goes here, X goes here. So you need to go ahead and cross multiply. 3 times 20 is 60. 4 times X is 4X. What's 60 divided by 4? Is it petunia or the daisies? Okay, D. No, it's petunia. X is right here on top. X is petunia. No. The numerator is always going to be petunias. It doesn't matter what this is. Once you cross multiply, you mix the top and bottom together. It's always the numerator is petunia. The denominator is daisy. Okay? Don't mix it up together. Because 60, you got 3 on top and 20 on the bottom. Do you see they're mixed together? So you can't just say, oh, it's all of a sudden daisy. It's just numerator is petunia, denominator is daisy. Do not get that mixed up. And also, if you're not sure, Grayson, don't just guess. It says if the parent club gave her 20 daisies, they gave her 20 daisies, how many petunia? Go back to the question. Okay? Okay, D, read that for me, please.
A solid recipe calls for 3 cups of water to 1 packet of Jell-O. That makes enough tomato salad for 8 people. If Shayna wants to serve 12 people, how many cups of water? How many Jell-O packets will she need?
Okay. Cups of water is the numerator. What's the denominator?
1.
No, packet of Jell-O. That's what you need to start off with. Don't get any numbers, just the words. Okay? And don't just put Jell-O. Make sure you put packet of Jell-O so we know what you're talking about. Are we talking about a spoon of Jell-O? Are we talking about a cup of Jell-O? Are we doing like a pot of Jell-O? I mean, like, you got to be specific. Okay? So 3 cups of water to 1 packet of Jell-O will serve 8 people. Right? She wants to serve 12 people. So how many cups of water, how many Jell-O does she need? Okay, so we're going to have to work this a little bit differently, okay? So this one's a hard one because we're going to say 3 cups of water will give you 8 people. Do you see that? Okay, we're going to leave the packet of Jell-O on the side, okay? So on the side, we're not forgetting Jell-O. We're just going to leave it on the side, okay? Equals, it's giving you 12 people, right? X. If I figure out what X is going to be the cup of water for 12 people, right? Okay, so let's do that. Cross multiply. 36 equals 8X. Do you see that? Okay. X equals 36 over 8, which is not going to divide perfectly. So I'm going to put 4, 32, which then gives me a, actually, it's going to be a 4.05, 40. So I would need 4.5 cups of water for 12 people. Do you see that? Okay. Now, that's your first one. That's your first fraction, okay? Now, I also need to know how many packets of Jell-O for 12 people. Because the question asks you for water, which I just found right there. Do you see that? But it also asks you for packets of Jell-O. But I don't have that information yet, right? Because that's why I put the side of Jell-O on the side, because I'm going to go back to it, okay? So then I'm going to go ahead and do the second one. So this is my second proportion, okay? That's your first proportion right there. This is your second proportion. Your second proportion, your X has to be the packet of Jell-O, right? But I do have water, right? Or I could use people, but I think I'm just gonna use water instead. Or you could use people, we'll do both, okay? So let's say we're gonna use water to find Jello, right? I mean, you have to have two numbers of water, right? Because if you don't have two numbers of water, then you can't find Jello, right? Okay, so let's use water. Water is 3 and 4.5. 3 and 4.5, right? Hold on, something got messed up here. 4.5 equals over here. So this is water. Then I need to do Jello. Well, Jello, I know that 3 to 1, so 1 packet of Jello. But how many packets of Jello do I need for 4.5 cups of water, right? So then let's cross multiply. 3x equals 4.5. X equals 4.5 divided by 3. So you're going to work this on the side. So I'm going to do 4.5 divided by 3, which is a 1. 1.5, or I'm sorry, you can't have a decimal there, just kidding. Move it 1 over. So you put a 0 right there, right? So 30 times 1 is 30, which will then give you a 15, right? Put a dot and a 0. 30 times 5 gives me 150. So my answer is X is 1.5 packets of what? Jello. And that's how you use the second one to find the answer, okay? This one's a hard question, so it's okay for you to be confused, okay? There's different ways of finding that. Let's say, for example, you decided not to go ahead and use cups of water to find Jello. You can also use people. So here's the third way that you can do it. Are you ready? Okay. So we still need to find X, which is packet of Jello, right? Because that's something we have not found yet, right? Use people. People, you have either that's given to you 8 people and then 12 people, right? So 8 people and 12 people equals, I gotta find Jello. 1 packet of Jello for 8 people, right? So 1 goes on top, X goes on the bottom because X is with 12 people, right? When I cross multiply, 8x equals 12. X equals 12 over 8. So let's divide it. 12 and 8. 8 times 1 is 8. Subtract, you get a 4, right? Put a dot, put a 0. 8 times 5 is 40. 0. So what does X equal to? 1.5. Isn't that the same answer as the one that we just got? 1.5 packet of Jello. 1.5 packet of Jello. Do you see that? You can use either the second one or the third one to find the packets of Jello. You'll get the same answer. This is kind of a hard one, so you're going to have to just kind of soak it in a little bit. What? What about 3? That's just a proportion you're using. So these are the proportion that you found after doing all this work. Okay, I'm just going to write it right here. So this is what you found. So what you have here is you have Jello, which is a packet of Jello. Jello packet was, first one was 1, and the other one was 1.5, right? Okay, then you have people that we found too. First one it was 8, then it was 12, right? And then we had cups of water. So first it was 3, and then we found 12. That's what we found from what was given. Do you see that? You see how you can use proportion and ratios to find unknown quantities of things? You're just gonna have to soak this one up a little bit. This one's not easy, I get it, so I'm sorry, but I think it's about similar, but yeah, if you want to use a third option, that's totally fine. All right. So we have E left, right? Okay, let's just finish E and then we're done. I'm recording. Stop. Stop. Hey, Emma, I really need you to stop, please. We're going over this. I don't understand why you guys are up over there because all right. To make blueberry paint, Mr. South Ireland needs 3 parts blue, so blue, to 5 parts white. Right? If he wants 24 cups of blueberry paint, how many cups of blueberry paint does he need? Okay. Well, this part's confusing because 3-part blue with 5-part white makes how many cups of paint? I don't know what that means. Does that make sense? Does that make 1 cup? I mean, 3 parts blue and 5 parts white makes paint, but how much paint? You know what I mean? So if I do blue over white, that's 3 over 5. But then I don't know how to find it though, because it doesn't say specifically. So that's okay. We're just gonna stop right now and we'll figure out later.